In this video, I'm going to discuss how to structure and organize your online Canvas course in a way that is intuitive and navigable for your students. So every course should start ideally with some module at the top that's a Start Here module. It's the module that contains all the information it's like the orientation for the student for your course. And as you can see here, I have a model. Now, this is just a model. It's just to provide some ideas. Your course may require a different set of orientation activities and resources. But it's important and essential that you have a Start Here module. Typically, you would welcome students to the course either through a video or through a written message. Same goes for introducing yourself, providing your students information about yourself, your background, who you are. Again, that can be with a video or you could write it out. And then providing access to your syllabus. That could be done through Simple Syllabus, which is accessed in your Canvas course through Course Syllabus. It's also a good idea to provide a PDF version or a Word version of your syllabus. If you're using Simple Syllabus, you can generate a PDF file of the course syllabus and make that available as well. Some type of syllabus activity is often used, not required, but it's a good idea. And then an introduce yourself activity where students introduce themselves to one another and have their first experience with interacting with one another in your course. And of course, that activity doesn't necessarily have to be in the Start Here. You could locate it in your next module. Another important point is you want your activities, all your learning activities in the module to be organized in the sequence that you want the students to complete them in. And there are actually ways in which you can require students to complete these in the sequence that you want. You would find those options right here under Edit, and then you can use the requirements function in the module settings. We're not going to cover that in this video. So moving on from the Start Here module, then you'll have your learning modules. It is highly recommended, if it's practical for your course, to organize your modules in weeks. The vast majority of students think in terms of weeks rather than units. And sometimes, especially with some hybrid courses, and you have this pivot point between your online portion of the course versus the in-person portion of the course, and it kind of divides things up where it's hard to call it a week. So in that case, you might opt for Module 1, Module 2, Module 3. In this case, I'm calling this a week. So week 1 for a purely online course, followed by the date range. That can be very helpful for students. And whatever you choose to do in naming your modules, keep it consistent. So the next module should be week 2, with the month spelled out and then the date range. You don't have to do it that way, but whatever you choose to do, keep it consistent and name it in a way that makes sense. Now, just like I said up here in the Start Here module, you want to establish a consistent and predictable sequence for students to follow for each week, to the extent that you can, placing the different activities and types of activities in the same sequence, having the same types of activities is going to be helpful. This example here by no means, it's not an orthodox requirement. You just want to establish as much as you can a consistent pattern in your online instruction, week by week, module by module. So in this example, I always will indicate to the student what the activity is requiring them to do. So this is an introduction to the module and what they'll be doing, and they need to read it. And I tell them, read this. Then they're going to watch a lecture. So lecture 1, they click on that. It would be a Canvas page with a lecture. And then following that, there's a check for understanding. Did they understand key concepts, ideas from the lecture? I just want to know, so I'm providing them a quiz, some type of check for understanding or formative assessment, followed by perhaps a discussion. You can locate the discussion wherever you want, but every week I'll have them do a discussion. They can depend on that and see that discussion. And then finally, some type of project to finish off the week. It could be a short essay. In this case, they're going to create a concept map. But every week they'll see a project at the end. You don't have to have a project, but the whole point is to have some type of consistent structure. So if I'm going to make a week 2, I want it to look like week 1 as much as I can, so that it's easier for students to locate what they need to do. Now, one thing that you can do is you can actually duplicate a module, so that kind of launches you. You can even have a module template. There are some caveats to that. If you want to duplicate a module, all you have to do is go to a module, click on the 3 dots, and go down to duplicate, and it will automatically duplicate that module. And it will say copy at the end. So obviously in here, I'm going to need to change this to week 2. And this needs to be changed from the day range. Let's say that's 12 to 7, 12 to, like, I don't know, 20, let's say 23. And get rid of the copy, and then you could just set your prerequisites and requirements. I'm going to update the module, and then you would change these accordingly. Lecture 2, discussion 2, project 2, and you could change the details in the assignments, in the activities that you create. Now, if you choose to duplicate a previous module, there are some situations where you will not be able to duplicate the module. That option will not appear to duplicate. If you have a classic quiz in that module, you will not be able to duplicate. That will not be there. If you have some type of external tool assignment, an LTI assignment from like a textbook, an online textbook, then it will not duplicate that assignment. So any external tools will, if they're located in the module, you cannot duplicate that module. So you'd have to remove those in order to duplicate the module. So if it makes sense for you to duplicate the module, that's an easy way to maintain your consistent structure in the way it looks to the students, but as consistent as you can make it, the better, because they're going to spend less time and less cognition trying to figure out where things are if you have a consistent and easy to navigate course.